Alright, so this video is going to be about why I'm an advocate for possession soccer. I'm going to be putting the video into 4 different phases: the attacking phase, the transition from defense to attack, the transition from attack to defense, and then the 4th phase, the defensive phase. So I'll start with the attacking phase, why I'm an advocate for possession soccer. When I think of possession soccer, I think of control. Controlling the match, dictating, if you have 60 to 66% of the ball, you're able to dictate the flow of the game if you play accordingly. So how fast you want the game to go, if you want to slow it down, when to slow it down, and being able to dominate the game with the ball. Psychologically, to another team, especially if you're not working with professional athletes, when you get a goal or two and you're able to dominate, say get almost 2/3 of the ball in a game, a lot of teams are just going to shut down. They're not going to start working cohesively and work together as a unit. Certain individuals will kind of just give up because they're tired of chasing the game. So the psychological element is huge, especially with youth soccer. And then statistically, if you have, not 52-48, but if you have over 60% of the ball, your chances of winning the game are going to be much higher. And that's been proven at the professional level with actual stats. So I think it's just critical to be able to control your own destiny. I think that's, the main thing is taking the game to the other team, putting your hands in your own destiny about when you want to press, when you don't want to press, and then also take into account that with every possession team, everything is going to be different. So there's no generic possession team. Everything can be different. If you look at, Pep, with Barcelona playing a 4-3-3, pressing the ball obviously super high up the field, playing a single pivot, and in possession usually keeping the ball but not countering it 100 miles an hour vertically. Whereas Marcelo Bielsa with a Bilbao, you have a different formation. You have, when Bilbao got the ball, they were playing 100 miles an hour vertically up the field and trying to really counterattack and just go at teams. And then obviously when Bilbao lost the ball, the thing that they have in common with Pep and then even Barcelona now is that when they lost the ball, they were pressing super high up the field to recover the ball. And so not only with that, but also just everything that can be taken into account in this video is up to the coach. So not just the formation, but the tactical tweaks that you're going to be making in the game. And then, are you going to build out the back? If you're going to build out the back, how are you going to build out the back? If you play a 4-3-3, are you going to play a single or a double pivot building out the back? And just different things like this. If you get fouled in the middle of the field, do you want your player to put his hand on the ball and try to play as fast as possible and make a short pass? Or do you want to play, get your guys up the field and play a 30 or 40 yard ball near the 18-yard box and stuff like this? Do you want your wingers tucked in? How high do you want your outside backs? So there's just multiple things to take into account with this video, just multiple tweaks that could, will vary from coach to coach. The second phase is going to be the transition from defense to attack. And so with this phase, again, it's going to vary from coach to coach. Do you want to play the high percentage pass and play, do you want to play sideways or even backwards to keep the ball while the other team, if they're a good team, are getting their shape back in their formation? Or do you want to play kind of like Bielsa does, where you get the ball, you try to play quickly, vertically, and catch the other team out while they're not back in their formation and not back with their shape? And this is something that obviously Mourinho is one of the best coaches, I think, at least for counterattacking, and then Bielsa as well. And the thing that they're huge advocates of, and that I don't think we hear enough about in the US, is that transitions are everything in soccer. So if you can counterattack at 100 miles an hour and really catch a team off guard when they have guys out of position, go ahead and do it. That's their philosophy and that's their opinion on it, at least. And then you obviously see other possession teams where they would rather build slowly, make sure that they possess the ball, and not play the risky pass unless there's like a huge reward at the end of it. The third phase will be the transition from attack to defense. And what's really good is that if you build accordingly and you're doing this choreographed, what you're going to have is you should be able to, when you do lose the ball, because it's going to happen, you should be able to get somebody there to press the ball within a couple seconds. So it shouldn't even take 5 or 6 seconds like it does, Barcelona, say 6 seconds, win the ball back. But if you're lined up accordingly and you're really playing under a possession team and you're not just playing 40-yard balls all the time, you should be able to press the ball and be at the ball within seconds, because the spacing should be, like I was saying, like a 10 to 20 yard spacing, just depending on where you are in the field and the circumstances in the play. So there should always be somebody there to pressure the ball if you want to play with a high line. And then obviously, like I was saying, this is something that can vary. Some teams will play a super high line and try to win the ball back in the opposing team's final third. Other teams will play a low line of confrontation and not start pressing until like almost the halfway line, and then other teams will just totally drop off. So it really does depend. But that's the thing I love about it, is that your defense and your midfielders are really your attack. Especially with the defense, with your outside backs, they control. If you're pressing super high up the field, they're going to be high up and trying to win the ball back as well, working as a team to transition into the attack. And then fourth, the defensive phase, which I love about it. The thing that I really love about it is that I think that if you do it the right way, it makes your defenders look better than they really are. And I don't mean that in a harsh way. It's just that if you have 60 to 65% of the ball, rather than the other team having, say, 50% of the ball, the chances of them getting more shots on goal is obviously going to decrease. The chances of them getting in your final third is going to decrease. And then obviously you're going to be able to set the tempo. So the defensive phase, we call it the defensive phase, your defense is your first line of attack. Your center forward is your first line of defense. So that's the beauty, is everything is collective. Everything is done with the team in mind. Obviously when you're building out the back, it starts with the center. Well, it starts with your goalie, but then it starts with your center backs after that. And then when you're pressing in the defensive phase, after the transition has been made, the front three, if you're playing a 4-3-3, are the first ones to press the ball, obviously. And so they have they just have a lot of responsibility, the defenders do. But at the same time, there's not many defenders that like just getting stuck in and playing 40-yard long balls, and they just like defending because that's what they like in life. I think that most defenders, if given the opportunity, would love to build out the back, would love to problem solve, would love to give communication to their teammates, and create the attack. But obviously here, that's not something that we highly emphasize, at least from what I've seen for the most part. So this is just a quick video for that. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think.